Sleep is one of the many things people believe to be important. However, people will take sleep for granted and most of the time procrastinate on sleep and not get the recommended 7 to 9 hours a day. This leads most people to believe that they can catch up on their missed hours of sleep by overcompensating and sleeping longer than the recommended amount. It may seem counterintuitive, but sleeping for longer than 9 to 10 hours a night can lead to serious health conditions. Oversleeping or too much sleep can lead to serious health problems, be a potential side effect of depression, and even have neurological damage involving cognitive ability and reasoning skills. One of the most prominent issues with oversleeping is the side effect involving depression. Too much sleep is considered to be a potential symptom of depression, as stated by sleep psychologist Michelle Drupp in the Amerisleep article on oversleeping. Dr. Drupp states that oversleeping is a symptom in 15% of people with depression. It tends to more often be related to atypical depression. Also stated in the Cleveland Clinic's Health Essentials article, this type of depression affects a person's mood and responses to events they encounter throughout the day. This means that the excessive amount of sleep caused by depression can lead to social impairments throughout a person's day. Oversleeping does not cause depression, it is a possible side effect of someone who is depressed. Dr. Drupp explains, when someone is depressed, it can be because they sleep as a form of escape. They may be thinking, I don't have anything to look forward to, so why do I even start the day? This mentality is something that affects many people in their everyday lives, especially with the implementation of social media as well as furthering technology. While sleeping can be a side effect of depression, one of the side effects of oversleeping are major health issues. The major health issues as a side effect of oversleeping are a higher risk of diabetes, higher risk of heart disease, and higher risk of stroke. The higher risk of diabetes is caused by oversleeping and putting the body at risk for metabolic issues according to the National Sleep Foundation. The National Sleep Foundation states, in a recent study, researchers analyzed the health, medical histories, and sleep totals of a group of more than 130,000 men and women ages 40 to 69. With this data, researchers were able to link sleeping more than 10 hours to cases of metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is considered highly to lead to diabetes. According to a Canadian study, which looked at the lifestyle habits of 276 people over the course of 6 years, they found that people with long sleep durations were more likely to develop impaired glucose tolerance and diabetes during the time span compared to normal sleepers, states Rosie Usman from Amerisleep. This impaired glucose tolerance can also lead to heart disease. A higher risk of heart disease can also be a side effect of oversleeping. According to information given by the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, researchers linked both short and long sleep with a higher risk of coronary heart disease. The study found that people sleeping more than 8 hours per night were 10% more likely to have coronary heart disease. According to the University of Colorado Boulder, in a research study they found that compared to those who slept 6 to 9 hours per night, those who slept fewer than 6 hours were 20% more likely to have a heart attack. Those who slept for more than 9 hours were 34% more likely. This proves that sleeping more than the recommended amount can be even more detrimental towards a person's health than sleeping too little. The higher risk of heart disease and diabetes is not the only fatal side effect of oversleeping. The chance of stroke is greatly increased when a person sleeps for more than the recommended amount. In a recent study at the University of Cambridge, researchers viewed data from about 9,700 Europeans over an 11-year time period. People who slept over 8 hours were 46% more likely to have a stroke during the study period, says Rosie Usman from Amerisleep. Data from an older National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey also found the relationship between oversleeping and high stroke risk, stating people who slept more than 8 hours had a 50% higher risk of stroke than people who slept 6 to 8 hours. Not only can oversleeping have an immense effect on the body, but it also can affect the brain. Sleeping more than 8 hours per night can reduce cognitive ability and reasoning skills. Sleep plays a very important role in the brain, and oversleeping can influence mood and mental health issues dealing with cognition and reasoning. Stated by Neuroscience News, researchers found that cognitive performance on 3 different games all peaked when people slept around 7 hours, worsening with more or less rest. Other studies have also found memory impairments and decreased cognitive function with longer sleep. Studies have also indicated that too much sleep can lead to degenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's. Stated by the National Library of Medicine, in a large Spanish study, they found that long sleepers may be at increased risk of developing dementia. In this study, they concluded that prolonged sleep duration may be associated with an increased risk of dementia. After the study, there were 140 incident cases of dementia. In conclusion, the evidence clearly states too much sleep is more harm than it is good. Many of the side effects, such as increased risk of fatal diseases and strokes, paired with risk of cognitive ability and even dementia, presents an immense problem that can easily be solved by limiting your sleep duration. People think they can disrupt their sleep cycle without any consequences. Many people believe that sleeping as much as they can will rejuvenate them and allow for them to be more productive when in fact it is the opposite. Too much sleep harms the body, and the myth of catching up on sleep must be debunked on a global scale. Too much sleep is just as bad, if not worse than too little sleep, given the comparison of problems oversleeping presents.